Let's talk about DaiOuJou. Now, I'm going to show you today a route that goes through the first loop of the game as safely and consistently as possible so that we can just get the clear. Let's figure out which ship we want to use. Now, we can pick between Type A or Type B. Type A is the straight shot ship and Type B is the spread shot ship. Then we can upgrade either our shot, our laser, or both with the EX ship. This run is specifically geared towards A shot or A XE. You can use either one of those ships and this run will be very similar. A shot's gonna have a strong shot and the most amount of bombs, while EX will have a strong shot and laser, however you'll have the fewest bombs. The key deciding factor has to do with recovery. If you're on the shot ship and you die, your laser plummets to the bottom level. It's a severe power loss. Whereas on the EX ship, you don't have too many bombs, so you don't have as many panic options. Whichever downside you prefer is the ship you should choose. This run, we're going to be using the shot ship. However, if you prefer the EX ship, I recently did a run in Shmup Slam 7 doing a safe route with the EX ship, so you can check that one out. Alright, let's get into the run. First things first, we want to pick 2-round mode. Even if we're just doing the first loop, because if you pick 1-round game, you have to fight Abachi at the end no matter what. Now you're going to see kind of how this game flows. We have these Zakos here, these tanks and planes. If we follow along with the flow of how they're spawning, they're going to lead us to the big enemies. Now, we're playing the shot ship, so even when we're on the big enemies, we're still going to use our shot, because our shot is pretty much equal in damage to our laser right now. And it's going to not build us as much hyper. Let's look at this big enemy here. Usually, you sit on top of it to build hyper. Look at the top left. You see that pink gauge? That's our hyper meter. It's going to make a lot of the sections significantly easier to get through. We'll have a hyper for all the ones we want. But the downside of using a hyper is it increases the game's difficulty every time you use one. Every time you use one, the game's rank goes up, increasing the bullet speed of the enemies. And if you stack multiple hypers and use them, you increase that rank even more. So what we're doing throughout this run is we're building enough hyper for all the really hard sections while not building too much that we stack it too hard. And we do have an additional weapon we can use against the rank system. We can lower the rank by either dying or using a hyper and then bombing. And we're going to find that to get through many of these bosses, we're going to speed kill a lot of their phases by using a hyper on the hard parts. And then bombing, we'll be able to skip a phase and lower the rank. So now we're coming up to the boss. I'm going to show you how we could beat this boss consistently and not have to deal with its harder pattern. Usually with this boss, what you want to do is you want to damage the 2 side pods. For this boss, if we kill those side pods while they're spinning, they drop us 2 hypers. If we want to score the start of the next stage, this is what we want to do. But we're going to be able to reach the scoring extends regardless. Now, this is the pattern that gets everybody when you first start playing. We get these 2 pods. You see that one on the left? You might want to dodge to the right because obviously the bullets are on the left. But if we do that, the pod on the right is going to explode and we're going to have to dodge overlapping bullets. What we want to do is dodge through the left first. Now, for this pattern, we want to misdirect the big shots towards us, then move through the red bullets. So we misdirect the blue, move through the red. Misdirect the blue, move through the red. Now, in order to not have to deal with the rest of this boss, we're just going to hyper straight up and kill it immediately. We move into the boss because when you laser on top of an enemy, you get bonus damage. It's something like double damage. We're going to be point blanking a lot of enemies using that. Now, we're coming into stage 2 with a hyper already active. So the start of this stage is going to be incredibly easy. You just use your shot and you kill everything. What we want to focus on is you see this building up ahead. There's going to be 2 turrets on the left and a power-up enemy. What we want to do is kill the 2 turrets, kill the power-up enemy, and then sit on top of the helipad with your laser. Watch. You want to sit here as long as possible. You're getting double damage on this really tanky enemy. Now we have 1 more big tank. So make your way to the top right. We're going to point blank this big tank. If you're using the EX ship, it's a bit easier to kill these tanks before they can shoot, and you can see here. This next section has a bunch of mid-sized enemies that are going to shoot at us. So we're going to route in a way where those bullets that these enemies shoot at us are going to be shooting behind us and we don't have to deal with them. Watch, we don't have to dodge in between any of the bullets. We're dodging past them and dealing with the enemies before they could do anything else. Now, we want to slowly stream this big tower in the middle. That is a bullet cancel. That'll cancel everything. Now we can clean up all of these turrets. Now we're waiting for a big enemy on the right. We're going to swing to the left, then back to the right, then back to the left. If we do this, we deal with all of the big enemies and the Zakos as well. We're going to use our hyper on this mid-boss in order to set us up for the next section. As the boss reaches the left side, use our hyper. Now we just follow under the boss and we automatically dodge everything and it's all good. Now this upcoming section is a pretty huge section. We don't score in this run, but we are going to try our best to chain here because we want to have a hyper for the boss and we want to build up enough score for the scoring extends, and this section is the most lenient scoring section in the game. So on the sides are going to be a bunch of tanky buildings and tanks coming out into the middle. What we want to do is if we want to focus on the tanks, and if the tanks aren't on screen, we're either lasering a building or sweeping by with our shot. Now, you don't have to be super specific. You can drop your chain here. It's actually so lenient, we built 2 hypers. So don't worry about the chaining mechanics too much, but you just want to try your best to try sweeping everything. We want to build a hyper and build up as much score as possible, so that way we have as much leeway to reach the second scoring extend. Now this second boss is pretty difficult, but there's a bunch of ways we can make it really easy. You see here this bomb in the middle. We don't want to pick that up. We haven't used a bomb yet, so our bombs are currently maxed out. So what that means is we can keep this floating around, and it's a completely free bomb we can use on this boss. Now, there's a few ways to do this, so we're going to demonstrate them back to back. Here, I'm going to show you what happens if we want to use our hypers and that free bomb. We're going to hide here on the right, and we're going to wait till we're just about to be hit. As we're just about to be hit, we're going to pop the hypers. As our hypers run out of iframes, we're going to bomb and then pick up that floating bomb. Now we're back at max bombs. Now, you can either spend another bomb and you'll kill this phase right away, and we're going to get a bomb in the next stage. So really the only difference here is if you want to keep your max bonus or not to give you a little leeway with score. But if you have trouble with this first phase, use a hyper, a bomb, and you clear this first phase immediately. Here, we're just using a hyper and a bomb, and we're going to dodge the rest of it since it's not too bad. We did so much damage already. Now for the second phase, there's a few things we can do. So I'm going to show you what we did in this run first. We start here on the left. That way, we get through these blue waves at the start. And now we can just focus on dodging. There's a clean lane here through the red shots you can follow. And now we just have to do a bit of reading, but the slowdown makes it a bit easier. If you're having trouble in that section, you can actually bomb it and it'll kill the entire phase. So you can decide to either hyper the first phase and then bomb, dodge the rest of the first phase and then bomb the second one, or you can use a hyper, a bomb, and then you can dodge this second phase naturally. If you want to be sick with the EX ship, what you do is you build almost a hyper, and then you go into this phase, do a hyper, a bomb. You'll build the hyper and be able to pick that up. And then there's a cool safe spot at the top of the boss. You can hang out there for a few and then hyper, and you're completely safe to kill it. I stopped doing that though, because I'd fuck it up more often than not. Something really important that we did there on that boss is we hypered and then we bombed. By doing that, we lowered our rank by 3 hyper rank. Every time we spend that hyper, we up a rank. And by doing that on the bosses, we not only get to speed kill the bosses during their really difficult phases, but we also completely plummet the rank. So now the start of this stage is a lot easier because now the bullets are going as slow as they can possibly go. And it's going to make it significantly easier. At this point, after this big tower in the middle dies, we want to make our way to the right side. You see that turret up top? We need to kill that turret to make this section easier. Now these big ships are kind of annoying, but if you slowly tap, you'll tap through the blue bullets and the red ones. You want to kill that turret on the right, and now we want to focus down this big one. Good, now you can use your shot. Our shot clears all the big enemies pretty fast. you can use your shot or your laser on all of the big enemies. Make your way to the left, we kill that turret. Now this enemy is really threatening and there's tons of Zakos everywhere. So what we do is we make our way to the right, clear all of the planes so that all that left is this big enemy, and then we hyper it. That way we can instantly point blank and kill this one without any issue. Now we get to this mid-boss. We're bringing the hyper into the mid-boss, which is going to make it so that we can kill it significantly faster. We're going to actually skip most of the first phase by point blanking the main unit, not the arms. We're trying to point blank the main unit and then retreat downwards. You don't want to do too much damage to it, otherwise it'll trigger phase 2 when you're right up in the boss's face and you'll instantly die. So just do a little bit and then hang out down here, kills it really fast, and now we bring this into this part. We want hyper here because our shot is wide. It makes it a lot easier. Now we're going to stream from the left to the bottom right, but we don't want to go all the way to the right. We want to go to here. This is about where the bullets are ending, and then they're going to slowly aim back on us. If we go all the way to the right, there's still a bunch of enemies on that top left spawning in, and if we go too far, we're going to wall ourselves. So we get to about here where we still have some room on the wall, and then we're going to slowly make our way up, and that's enough to get to part 2 of this stage. Now part 2, I thought the second half of this stage was going to be really scary, but it turns out that this route completely nullifies everything. You don't have to do any dodging in this part, so I'll show you how. We're picking up a bomb here. We used just one bomb on the last boss, so we're actually overcapped here. We don't use that bomb at all. So what you can do is you can either spend one additional bomb on the previous boss to make it easier if you're having trouble with it, or if you want to keep the max bonus to increase your score like we did in this run, you can just use one bomb on the last boss. And if we're maxed out here, we can always leave this bomb floating around. If we mess up our route and get in trouble, we can use that bomb for free. So it's going to be floating around here. So this phase has these big enemies and these Zakos. These Zakos flood the screen with slow-moving bullets. Let's move to the right here. We're trying to, every time we destroy these big enemies, the bullet cancels everything. So we make our way to the right. And the way this works is we're going to have this one in particular is going to have 2 directions that Zakos are spawning. So they're spawning on the right here and spawning at the top. We're going to make it so that our shot is enough so we're hanging on the right. So we're killing the right Zakos while being able to reach the top Zakos while slowly streaming to the left. This makes it so that we don't have to dodge any of them and we clear them out. Now we're free to kill the big enemy. We use that cancel to kill the Zakos for free. There's one more up here. We kind of go up close to the big enemies and then move downwards as the Zakos flood in. This makes it so that they're shooting at the top of the screen and not downwards at us, so it makes it easier to move later. Now, we don't want to kill that one on the left yet. I find it easier to kill this top right one. Now we could sweep down for the Zakos, kill this one. It won't shoot its blue bullets, we're fine. Now, after this one dies, we're going to use the cancel to point blank this one with the laser. That way we're set up to deal with the rest of these guys. Now we're going to set up a really cool safe spot here. We want to go to the hard bottom middle of the screen. Now it looks like we're about to be hit. Once we're about to be hit, you move up a tiny bit and then you're good. We wait and they can't realign on us fast enough. We kill the boss for free. I'll show that one more time. We just move up and that's it. It kills it. Now we want to bait a bunch of enemies on the top right. These are shooting spreads at us, so we want to make our way in a U to the other side of the screen. But we want to stay in the middle, so we're going to dodge a little bit in here. If you go all the way to the left, then there will still be enemies on the top right, and you'll have to deal with them as they linger into the next section. So just stay in the middle a little bit. It's not too hard of a dodge. There's really big openings in the center. Now let's kill this middle enemy. We want to pick one of these bullet cancels. Don't worry about the Zakos, you're just focused on getting the cancel. Now that we have the cancel, we're free to kill all the Zakos in the middle. Now, you might want to go and kill the enemy on the left, the big bullet cancel, but because it's in its blue bullet pattern, which will wall us, we want to move on the right. That way these blue bullets spawn off screen, and now we're free to kill it. If you go there too fast, you can wall yourself and have to make a really hard dodge through the blue bullets. Here's the turtle boss. This boss is really fun, but it's also a lot of dodging. So while these red bullets are out, you just want to tap in one direction. As long as you tap in one direction, then you can completely ignore the red bullets and just focus on the blue. So right here, the red bullets don't exist. We're just going to the right and looking at the blue bullets to make sure we don't run into one of those. Now this is the scariest pattern actually, because it's easier to get clipped by and not be able to bomb in time. Now let's talk about this pattern. This might be a bit scary, but here's how you consistently get through it. We're gonna start on the left. You see these red bullets? These are aimed on us. And then we have the blue bullets. The blue bullets are a completely static pattern from the boss. It'll be a little randomized because the boss is constantly moving, but for the most part, we can follow this route. We're going to bait the red bullets on the left and then make our way to the right. We get a clean lane here. Because it's static, you're always going to have this clean pattern to move through. And now here's the part where they overlap. This looks really scary, but with this movement, the red bullets are generally going to be like lined up on top of the blue ones, and they're going to create, you see here, we're creating several lanes. We picked this one right here, but we could also pick the one on top. You want to get good at reading when the lane is good or not, so you can make that split-second decision on which one you can choose, and that way you can get through there, and then the rest of the pattern is free. Let's look at that one more time. So we start on the top left. We're going to go in a U downwards. We're going to make our way to the right. We're sitting in the middle for a bit. Now we go to the right. Now we pick a lane and we move through it, and boom, the pattern's done. The rest is easy. Now we can sit our laser for a bit here, but once it gets too fast, we want to use our shot. We're really slow with our laser. This will loop around, but luckily we don't have to dodge that last pattern twice. We're going to kill it before then. And then we're going to get on to phase 2. Now phase 2 of this boss is incredibly difficult. So in order to make this easier, we could do two things. What I opted to do in this route is we're going to once again do the hyper into the bomb. It's going to plummet our rank and we kill this really hard phase. What I've also seen you can do is let's go through it first. We're going to try to live as long as possible. You don't have to live as long as I did. Then hyper and then bomb. And that's enough to clear through this phase. If you want to score the next stage, or if you don't want to use a bomb there, something I've seen that I haven't practiced, these grates, by the way, are what makes this boss so hard on this section. You see how these grates are in the middle? You can make your way to the right, onto the right, like a line of where this grate is coming from. Use a hyper and point blank the boss till it dies. That's how you carry the hyper into the next stage. I care more about the rank loss. So what we're going to do is hyper and then bomb. Our rank is now completely plummeted to 0. It's going to make the next stage significantly easier. The next stage, this is one where you're going to have to route pretty tightly, but once you got the route, it's not too bad, and in fact, it's pretty fun. We start off, we just swing back and forth, killing these Zakos. Once we do that a few times, we can laser the rest onto this wall. We build extra hyper. So to start off, we kill these turrets in the middle. There's enemies on the top right, so we sit on the top right. Don't be running around or else these blue bullets are going to linger on screen. Sit on the right, we kill those enemies. Now, same thing on the left. Sit on the left, we kill those. All right, you see these two turrets on the top left and the top right? These have two phases to them. They're going to shoot a really easy to dodge pattern, and then afterwards, they're going to shoot a circular pattern that doesn't leave much room to dodge. For this first pair, let's point blank both of these and get them down immediately. So we're going to kill that one. Then we're going to move to the right, kill this. You see a little bit, this circular pattern. If we let it live, we're going to have to dodge that. Now we want to go to the right. During this phase, there's constantly going to be Zakos flying in. So we're on the right here to kill this wave of them. And now we're just waiting for Zakos to appear from the left. You see these flying in? That's your cue to move to the left side. Now we're going to point blank this tower immediately, and we're not moving to the right. You see that other turret? It's now shooting its hard pattern off screen. We're going to wait for the Zakos up top. That's our cue. Move to the right. Now it's on its easy pattern. Now, for the next two sections, we're going to follow a similar pattern. We're going to slowly stream to the right, using our shot so we could kill the Zakos flying in and the middle tanks. So we're slowly go to the left, go to the left. Now we're free to kill this turret. Now we're waiting here. Once the Zako wave's dead, we can go in and kill the other turret. You don't want to move before the Zako wave is coming in, because then you'll get shot behind you, and whenever you need to move back, you'll have to do some dodges. So we're waiting for the Zako wave, and then we move. Now, for this next section, same exact thing. We're moving to the left. We kill this first turret. Now we're waiting for a Zako wave. Now we can move. We're killing this one. Now through this method, that's the end of that section, we deal with everything without having to make some dodges. Let's go through it, and we're going to play it from the beginning of the turret section so you can see it all in motion. We go to the top left. We kill the one on the right. We're now going to go to the right side to kill some Zakos. We see the ones on the left come. We move to the left. Kill this turret. We're waiting for Zakos. There they are. Move to the right. Kill the turret. Now slowly stream to the left. We're going to kill this top left turret. Now we're going to... we killed the Zako wave early, so we moved there fast. Move to the left slowly with streaming. Wait for this wave. Now we kill it. We're good. Go and kill this turret. And that's that section done. Now for this next section, there's a few tanky turrets we want to get rid of. You don't have to be in a hurry. Don't worry about speed killing them. Just take your time. And now we're getting to the best section in Shmups. I love this part. This is the minecart section. I'm going to show you how you get through this consistently. This is my favorite section in any cave game. It's really fun because you have to get extremely aggressive. So we're going to play through this, and then I'm going to pause through it and go through the route. We're orienting ourselves based off these middle-sized enemies that are shooting at us. That's kind of where we want to be at all times. And then we get around the minecarts and on top of them, and then we can laser. It looks terrifying, but everything is aimed at us. So as long as we're constantly moving, they shoot behind us. And we're perfectly safe, even though it looks like we're in complete danger at all times. And as long as we've memorized the positions of all of these, like a mid enemies, we can just follow along with that path, and they lead us towards a good route to dealing everything. So let's talk about specifics on what we want to do here. So after these turrets go down, there's two on the left, two on the right. Now we deal with our first minecart. We kill the minecart. Now there's one on the left, one in the middle. We go up over the minecart, laser it down. Now we want to stay in the middle. You see all these turrets here and these enemies? If we're in the middle, we hit everything. If we move all the way to the right, then we're going to wall ourselves because these turrets will be alive and shooting at us. So stay here in the middle just for a short time, and then you can make a cut around to kill the next minecart. Now we do the cut, and we're good. For this next section, there's going to be three enemies. There's going to be one on the left, one in the middle, one on the left. Make sure just to position yourself where you don't make these bullets overlap in an annoying way. And now we kill this minecart. Now there's one in the middle, the left, the middle, and the right. So we follow that pattern. Middle, left, middle, right, kill the minecart. Now there's just a couple on the right, so we swing around, kill the ones on the right. Now that staircase is done. Here's the last one. This is the streaming one. So we kill this first one. One on the middle, right, middle, left. And now instead of going up and over, what we're going to do is we're going to stay on the bottom left, and we're going to stream the rest of this section. Use your shot, and we're safe to just very slowly inch our way across and kill everything. You generally want to kill that top left one that I left alive. I streamed a little too fast, but it doesn't matter. Laser that. Now that's done. All right, now for this section. I always forget where to position because we want to get to the top left. So I always start on the left. No, you want to start on the right. Let's kill this right enemy first, then move to the left, and then we're going to make our way to the top left. So watch. We kill the right one. We move to the left. Now we swing around, make our way to the top. We want to slowly stream. Don't go too fast. Don't be too eager to kill these enemies. We want to kill all these enemies in the middle. Now we move up. This way, anything else that's lingering is going to shoot up at us, and we can make a cut in order to come down here and kill everything. Now this section's pretty easy. You can I just kind of sit in the middle or just swing around. All right, now coming up here is how we're gonna get the secret extend in this. You see this big cannon here? you can damage the main cannon or its 2 side pods. In order to get the extend, we have to kill the 2 side parts, and then we kill the cannon. And we'll start on the top right. We're going to make our way down. We're going to damage the middle part because it's pretty tanky, and now we kill the left one. You're going to notice we're getting kind of close and getting sandwiched by it, but you see this big cone that it's shooting? This cone is going to shoot down or up based on where we're positioned on the boss. So right now, we want to be on the top of the boss, bait the shots upward and move down, or we want to be on the bottom of the cannon, bait the shots and move up. So here we're baiting up. Now we can point blank the cannon, bait it down. It's good. I'll show you that all once again. We're on the right, we kill that. We're dealing damage to the main unit. Now we kill the one on the left. Now we want to bait these here. Bait those down. Nice. One thing you do have to worry about is our laser sucks, so you want to be worried about these canisters. These canisters have a hitbox, so we generally want to be using our laser and have our eye out for those to try not to ram into one of those. If you're on the Xe ship, it just kills it. You don't have to worry about it. That's the one disadvantage of this ship for this part. Now, we saved up our hypers there because this section is incredibly difficult. This is one of the hardest parts of the game, but we have 3 hypers stocked up to make it easier. You see these rails? These rails spawn randomly, and then these Zakos are in a fixed pattern. So what I found is we just want to focus on the rails, find where the head is, and then laser that down. Do your best to dodge as long as possible, and then once you're in danger, spend your hypers. If you get in trouble, don't be afraid to use the bomb. We're using the bomb ship. So we have those to spend. And additionally, as you can see, we have 3 bombs here, but as you die, your bomb stock increases. So while we only have 3 here, if you're just concerned with the first loop clear, dying is not the worst thing in the world because your rank goes down and your bombs increase. So don't sweat it too much. If you're ever going through this route and you're having trouble executing whatever route we do here, spend your bombs. They're so important. It's a big reason why we picked this ship. All right, now we're at the end. As soon as this cannon lifts up and you hear that big sound, it's pretty obvious once you listen to the sound. You want to start at the middle and then sweep around in a circle. We do a little around the world. Now, we have a hyper built up. You see at the top left, after this hyper is finished, we'll get a hyper item. If you don't have a hyper, we really want one for the boss. So if by this point you're not going to pick one up, we want to chain this section as best we can. There's 2 bees on the left and the right side. You want to use your shot here while the hyper is active, and then reveal these bees. So you can see here, after this turret goes down, we use our laser, reveal these left and right bees on the sides here. And now do your best using your shot to try to hold this chain for as long as possible. If you pick up these bees with a high hit count, then you get a huge stimulus and hyper meter, and that will probably push you over the edge to get you a hyper for the boss. So we're just holding our shot and we're going to pick it up. I made a mistake here and I managed to leave these ones alive, so I end up actually having to use a bomb there. But luckily there's a bomb carrier there and we're using the bomb ship. This boss I find really difficult, especially the first phase. So what we plan for here is we have a hyper and a bomb to use for this first phase. And then we have to deal with the second and third phases, and those we got to do a bit of dodging as well. But because we picked the bomb ship and we have an additional bomb available, we can actually skip those phases entirely. So for this first pattern, we're going to do our best to dodge. If you get an unlucky pattern and it's difficult to dodge, like they overlap, you want to use your shot and move to a better position. This one, the red bullets are kind of aimed at you, but because they're in a spread, they're going to be ahead of you and behind you. Instead of tap dodging and dodging the blue bullets, I find it easier to just do wide macro swings across. And then if you do get encapsulated like this, then you can kind of make your tap dodges. This pattern is really difficult to dodge, so survive as long as you can, then hyper, and then bomb. Because we hypered and bombed, not only do we deal with that hard pattern and the rest of this phase, but we also drop our ranks back to nothing. Now, these 2 arms are going to be firing blue bullets at us. In order to only dodge one of the arms, we're going to be on the left side of the screen, and the right arm is going to be completely off screen, and all of its bullets will not spawn in. So we're hugging this left wall. And do your best to dodge. If you have to go out like I am, like I go a bit to the right here, some blue bullets will spawn on that top right. Don't worry about it. Not dying here is more important. You would rather seal most of the bullets on the right and then like be safe here moving to the right and left than trying to hug the wall completely and getting clipped in a stupid way. So hug the wall. Do your best you can to stay on the right side, but just try not to get hit by anything that's like close to you. Now, we're going to skip the second and third phases entirely. We get in here, and these are going to collapse in on us. We're going to use a bomb, and it fucking kills the whole phase. I wish I knew about this earlier, but if you have a bomb there, you completely shred the second phase and the third phase immediately. Makes it so much easier. You don't have to do any dodging. All right, so we have a hyper in stock right now. And in a section shortly into the stage, we're going to want to use that hyper ideally. But if you're having a lot of trouble getting this opening section, just feel free to hyper this section and we'll bomb the part later. I'll explain when we do that. So how we do this start is we're going to ignore all of the tanks. We're moving in U's. We're trying to get up to these big enemies and then focus them down. That's the only thing we're concerned with dodging. So we kill the big enemy. We're trying to move up and onto the side as high as we can. This way the red bullets shoot at us and we can dodge downwards so that all we have to do is focus on the blue bullets from these enemies. Now we move to the right side, get up top, move down. All the red bullets we don't have to worry about. Get up top, move down, and we're set. Now this next upcoming section's not too bad because there's a lot of natural slowdown. But what we want to make sure is that we end these 3 planes on the left side. We want to get on the left to pre-position for these tanks, which can be kind of annoying. Now you want to kill 3 of these. You see that 4th one on the top right? Don't kill that one. As soon as you kill all 4 of them, a bunch of enemies will spawn in and flood you really fast. So what we're going to do is move to the top left, and we're completely safe here from the Zakos coming in and the tank. Now you see, as soon as we kill that tank, we get these enemies that you might remember from stage 3. Those flood in, which is why we decide to kill this right tank at the very end of this section instead of earlier. Now we want to make our way to the top left. We're going to get a bunch of Dodonpachi refight bosses. Luckily, they're all really easy to handle, and this boss especially has a way that if we have a bomb or a hyper, that we can cheese the boss. So watch how this works. We're going to make our way to the right side, and once the phase is almost done, use a hyper or a bomb for iframes, and he'll get locked in on your position where he can't actually hit you. So this part's really easy. As long as you have one resource, you bait him up top, and you're set. Now, we're getting to the hardest section of the whole game. We're getting to the beehive section. Now, this one's really hard, but with some practice, I got this one pretty consistent. So we're going to do one run through of it, and then I'm going to go step by step how you actually want to route it. So first off, we're trying to slowly stream. As soon as all the enemies are generally dead, we make our way around. The big problem we have is we have these big bees in the middle, we have the turrets on the sides of the hexes, and then we have these Zakos. These Zakos shoot shots that linger on screen for a really long time, so if we move poorly, those shots will impede us on moving to the next section. So there's a lot of timing involved here, and I'll get into that in a bit. But ideally, we're trying to speed kill these big enemies, the big bees, as soon as they spawn in, moving in a way that the Zakos aren't an issue. And the turrets on the sides of the hexes, those will naturally die, so we don't have to worry about those. And now, let's get into the nitty-gritty of how you want to do this. Let's kill this first bee. Do your best to try to kill the turrets to make this easier. Now we have those Zakos from the left. That's your cue. You want to move to the left side, and this bee will show up. Now that the bee's dead, we want to make our way to the right. You want to be not at the bottom moving to the right, because we're going to get some Zakos on the left that will be shooting at us, and if we're at the bottom, they're going to be hard to dodge later. So move up. You see we move diagonally up. This makes it so that these top Zakos will create us some neat lanes to move through, and these Zakos on the left are shooting behind us. We move to the right. Now there's no bee here, but you want to stay here as long as possible. You see we have both enemies coming from the left and the right. Stay here as long as possible. If you move too fast to kill the ones on the right, we have to deal with lingering enemies from the left that are a real pain. So you'll see here, here's the timing for it. Stay here for a little bit. Now we move across. Get to this B. We start up top, move down so we could dodge any ones of the left. This is probably one of the spookier dodges because we have enemies from all sides. Just do your best here. If you have a hyper or bomber available, feel free to use that. This section's hard. Try to make your way through. You want to stay on the bottom here and slowly stream so we kill this B. Now we want to make our way up and to the top. You want to get up as fast as possible. Once again, the left Zakos are shooting. We want as much room as possible. We have 2 Bs at once this time. As soon as we're about to kill this top right one, we start to move, sweep around, kill the top left one. Now make your way to the top right. We're going to do a really long stream. Move as slow as possible without getting hit. Make some bigger taps at the bottom here because you're close to the Zakos. We're kind of staying in the middle as much as possible to kill those top 3 turrets. Now, the issue with this part is we have Zakos on the left and Zakos on the right. And we're trying to delay here as long as possible to give us an opportunity to do an around the world where you move around and the Zakos on the right will run out. And now we're free to kill the ones on the left. I'll show that again. So we're staying in the middle, kill the B and the turrets. We're slowly. Now we have an opportunity, we move. We make our way through them, and we're good. Now another strategy you could do is once you reach this point where we're slowly streaming and we reach here, if you have a hyper available, you can hyper here, deal with everything easily, point blank the boss upcoming, and you skip the boss's second phase. It's really nice. However, we both didn't have a hyper during this part, and honestly, I think the part after the boss is harder, so I would prefer to hyper that part instead. And I got pretty good at this around the world, so if you have trouble doing this around the world, just use your hyper here if you got it. If you don't want to use any resources, I love doing this, plus it's friggin' fun. Now stay on the left here so all those Zakos are dead for sure. This boss's first phase is quite easy to dodge, so I kind of stay up top, get a little bit of point blank damage. I'm showing you guys stay down here, but if you want, you can actually stay up there the whole time. The second phase is a bit harder. You want to be on the sides. If you stay in the middle, you can get walled. See that middle pattern there? That one would have been hard to dodge. So just be moving around a lot. Now we get to this part. Now we're getting a bunch of enemies constantly flooding in. There's 2 strategies we want to do. One, this is probably the best way to do it, is we want to make U patterns. We're going to make our way across and then move up so that the enemies are now shooting at the top at like this middle left position. Now, while they're shooting there, we can find room to move across. We try to get diagonally up here. That creates an opening. We move across. So let's show that one more time. We're moving across and then we try to get up to create an opening. Now we're moving diagonally, create an opening. Move down, we see an opening, we take it. We're gonna move diagonally, and section's over. Now this part here looks like we have to make tight dodges. But the secret is both these fireballs in the middle and the walls on the side have really tiny hitboxes, really small. So the easy way to do this is you just hug this left wall and they won't hit you, and you're completely fine. Now these enemies, you want to use your shot and try to take them out. They can scatter a bit, so you want to make sure you don't leave any of them alive. Otherwise you get shot from behind sometimes. Now we're back to this. Just hug the wall and you're perfectly fine. Boom, and now it's dead. Alright, now for the second half of this stage. The big part of this stage is we have this new enemy on the top right. You see it's got that turret that's shooting the blue bullets, and then behind it is like the building shooting the red ones. What we generally want to do is kill the first turret, then we're going to take the time to sweep around and kill all of the remaining enemies, and then we come back around and kill the second half of it. Now this run, I had to make some dodges because I messed up the timing. So what I'll do is I'll show this run, and then afterwards we'll go over a cleaner run. So now first one's dead. We go around, kill these 2 middle enemies. Now we could kill the second phase. We want to sweep around. Don't get too hasty in killing these. You can go around and that's fine. You have enough time to deal with this one. We kill the first phase. Now that the first phase is dead, we're going to go kill these middle enemies. Now we have time to kill this. For this section, what you actually want to do is you want to stay here in the middle, go to the right, and then you're going to wait slowly and stream all these enemies together. We don't want to kill everything one at a time. We want to kill all of them at once. So we move to the top right. We're waiting, we're waiting, we're waiting. Now we stream all of them. You see, I went too hasty, so we left 2 of them alive. And that makes this section way harder. So now back to the main run. We're killing these tanks. You want to use your shot because the laser could get stuck on the tanks. You'd rather use your shot to kill them. It kills them faster. We actually have enough time here to kill both phases. Now stay here on the right. We're trying to get all of these enemies at once. Next section's really hard, so go to the right. Kill this enemy as fast as possible. Move to the top left. You want to be on the top left. I managed to get stuck in the bottom left, and because of that, these tanks are shooting down. Makes it a bit scarier. Now we have another 2 phase here. Kill the first phase, and then you want to move up and out, and then kill the rest of the enemies and swing around while killing the second phase of the building. Now I messed that up, so I'll show you the good, the good way once again. Makes it way easier. All right, in my clear run, I'm just gonna show you what happened because we messed it up. We had to spend our hyper here and then spend an additional bomb because the next section's a motherfucker. This is my least favorite part of the game. It's pretty rough. So we have to use our bomb here. These enemies shoot fucking red and blue wiggly bullets. I'm so bad at dodging wiggly bullets and red and blue bullets. The combination of those, it's a fucking miracle we made it through here alive. I cannot believe we made it through that. So I'm going to go into what it actually looks like. This is kind of the routing you kind of want to do. You want to kill these before they can overlap with the other ones. So you're trying to kill them as fast as possible. And then at the very end, get into the middle to kill the rest of them. But I'm almost certain there's a better way to do it. I always have to bomb here. All right, we're on to the final boss. If you used a hyper previously, you might start this phase with a high rank. If your rank is lower and these bullets are slow, follow a pattern like somewhat similar to this. It's fairly easy to create a static route. If your rank is any different than what you expect, just use a bomb here. Now this pattern, I fucking love this pattern, so I tried to dodge it. This one is very bombable. If you have resources, most people I see bomb this one, and I had to bomb in this run. Spend your resources here. It's really hard, and you don't want to die with them in stock. If you want to dodge this pattern instead of using resources, what I do is I only focus on the blue bullets at this angle, and then as soon as my peripheral sees red, I scoot over to the side, and each time you see red, you scoot a little bit, dodge, 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 scoot a little bit. Alright, this next section's fucking crazy. It's super random. What you want to do is stick in a lane, and anytime an opportunity presents itself to swap lanes, you want to do it. You're trying to make your way to the left side. That's where you can safely get out of there. Now I'll show you what happened in this run. We prayed to Shalanchi for a little bit for this dodge. I cannot believe we didn't have any resources to bomb, so we had to... you only get one of those. Don't bank on getting a dodge like that every time. We made our way to the left. That makes it easier. If you're on the left side when the pattern's ending, you generally got a route out of the pattern. Now, 2 patterns can happen here. This is the tight-knit pattern. Once you see this, you want to move with your shot away. Now we have the next one. It's going to randomly choose between these 2. This is a wide one, so you just tap once, you dodge it. We have a wide one, you tap once, you dodge it. We have a thick one, you move to the side fast. Now it's going to loop around. If you use resources, usually you won't make it back here. Usually I'll move on to the next phase. All right, we're on to the final phase. Get up point blank as much as possible. This pattern gets harder and harder as it goes on. You want to get your double damage in early. Take every opportunity you can to dodge through each of these lines. You're going to have to dodge them eventually, and you don't want to dodge 2 at once. So every time you see an easy opportunity to dodge, you want to take it. Now it's getting way, way thicker of lines, and you got to dodge them a lot faster. We're on actually no miss pace right now, and look how fucking close we are to getting the no miss. No. Oh god. We had to last through 2 more dodges. We're so close. That's the closest I've ever been to no missing this game. If you have resources in stock and you're only concerned with the first loop, just bomb. In fact, just bomb the whole last boss. Your bombs, your laser bombs, do a lot of damage. So if you have resources and lives in stock, just spend them. That's the time to do it. And as you're getting down to your lives are going down and down, you're getting more and more bombs. The max amount you can have on this ship is 6. So if you have resources in stock, now's the time to use them. Now, if you care about the second loop, there's 2 requirements, one of which you can meet. That'll make it so you can get to the second one. The first one, which is probably the one you want to do, is you want to die no more than 2 times. Which, if you're concerned with the second loop, you probably make it through the first one without dying 3 times. So you'll probably just make it there anyway. The other requirement is you could get perfect Bs in a bunch of the stages. So if you're doing scoring, you're probably getting that anyway. Now let's talk about score a little bit. You see, we made it here to the final boss with 53 million. So we only had a little bit of leeway score-wise to reach the 50 million extend. You get extends at 20 million and 50 million. Now, if you want a little more leeway, what I would advise you to do is, instead of speed killing the first boss like we did, you want to kill the options around the boss and get the hypers off it, and then score the start of the second stage. That'll get you way, way more than enough to have enough room to always be able to get the extend by here. But if you're a bit scared to do the scoring stuff, don't sweat it too hard. In all the survival runs I did, where I didn't really care too much about score, we usually got around this 50 mark by the last boss. But if you're really concerned about it, you can just find one little area of the game to maybe learn like a small chaining route for, and then you'll have enough leeway to do it. So don't sweat it too much. All right, thanks for watching. I can't believe you made it to the end. So now we have a little bonus section. Holy fuck, if you're here and you know what you're doing and please God help me. Okay, you see this run? I routed the whole fucking run. I routed all of Escalada 2 in Zeshkai overmode. Not overmode, Zeshkai overmode. Oh my God, I routed the whole thing. I routed everything. I can't do this final pattern. This is the only thing stopping the run. Dear God, how do you do this pattern? I've spent hours trying to figure out anything. I died in 2 seconds. I can't kill the green bullets. Oh my God. Oh my God, I have the whole route. I can't do it. This motherfucker no misses it. How does he no miss it? Help.